image, just want to let you know I gave the 3D printable valve assemblies a go for the float valves. This one is the one I gave it with the standard 20, what is this thing? 20 ounce bottle, as we call it here in the US. This thing, pretty solid. It does have a little bit of air gap, so this could also probably use a TPU type of seal squished in there to make that a little more airtight. Bottles themselves are stiff enough, so it's not really a problem, but that'd be kind of a nice to have. The TPU ring seals seem pretty solid. Haven't had any issues with that, and I really like the TPU tidbit here. That printed out great, no issues. But there are a couple failures I want to note. I have busted a number of the thumb screws that go into this threaded component here. I'm printing out everything in PETG, and the tolerances here seem a little bit too tight. I would actually go for making the thumb screw hole itself bigger in here, so that way that inner diameter here, I'd make that larger. I'd make these a little bit bigger, and the threads having just a little bit more slop in there. I think that would help with the play of this, and I'd be less likely to bust these. They seem to break right at about this point here when it's twisting and tensioning in. I'm probably just over tensioning it, but it's really easy to do. The other component I've busted is this guy here. I've only busted 2 of these in the process. I guess I've actually busted 2 of each of these different components here. And the main thing that's busted for me is the big threading on this guy. My theory on this is that I didn't have a high enough percentage of infill by default when I did this in the slicer. I'm printing on 0.4, and you can see right here, it just shears off and boom, off it goes. Once with full pressure on the hose, I just wanted to see if it could take it while I was setting everything up. That was fine. And then this time, it just busted when I was just fiddling with the line. So I'm not sure if it's honestly that this is so long that I've got an adapter to get this guy to a garden hose adapter. I've had to do a couple of different things to get this whole assembly working, but pretty close, pretty solid. It definitely needs a few tweaks though for this to be a little bit more reliable, I'd say. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to tinker with some of these components and see if I can't get a slightly better design out. Thicker threads, higher percentage of infill, go for 100% infill is what I'm thinking on that. I have no idea what Bamboo did by default, but that looks like a monotonic, probably 10-15% infill. Not enough. And the other issue was because I was using PLA as my support material, this little bit here, where that PLA is bonded to this guy here, that seems to also have weakened it substantially because it's only being held on by a thin little layer line like that. So maybe 2 walls across the board. So not that surprising that it busted. That's a slicing issue on my end. So that's all I got.